Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy, and this is about Monday Night Raw. And CM Punk's contract was actually over with earlier this week, but they allowed him to, they renegotiated for him to wrestle at the last night's pay-per-view, and he is gone from WWE. Well, there was an advertisement that Punk would be at Raw, and it was proved wrong as CM Punk posted pics of himself at Chicago Cubs baseball game with the WWE title on his Twitter account. And WWE.com has announced that Ezekiel Jackson will defend the Intercontinental Championship against Cody Rhodes on this week's episode of SmackDown, which will be taped tomorrow night. And spoiler for this coming week, Christian does not lose his title this week, as of yet, because he's not facing Randy Orton. Synopsis reads: after competing in a brutal Money in the Bank ladder match, Cody Rhodes takes on Intercontinental Champion Ezekiel Jackson for his title this week on SmackDown. Can Rhodes seize the opportunity, or will the personification of domination prevail? On Raw tonight, advertised for SmackDown, was Orton versus Kane in a street fight. So there's a spoiler. Orton does not get his rematch that soon. Joey Styles wrote on the following on his Twitter tonight, suggesting that he is returning to announcing on this Thursday's WWE's Superstars. It's online anyways. Controversy, he's quoted by saying, controversy abounds tonight, so I'll take this opportunity to let the world know that I am finally returning to announcing on Thursday. Unquote. WWE announced early this morning, that Luis Ignacio Uribe Alverdi, who performs as Sin Cara, other known as Mystico, has been suspended for 30 days due to his first violation of the organization's talent wellness program. PW Insider reports that WWE learned of Sin Cara's drug test failure on June 20th, 2011. It is believed that he tested positive for anabolic steroids. F4W Online adds that he may not be brought back. As the results of the pay-per-view from last night, Sin Cara was written off television during last night's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. During the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match, Sheamus viciously powerbombed the masked grappler from the ring apron through the steel ladder that broke. He was subsequently stretchered to the back by paramedics to explain his absence from television. WWE.com announced this afternoon that he suffered posterior fractured rib and will be sidelined for at least 4 weeks. Coordinating with angles involving Big Show and Sin Cara last night at Money in the Bank, WWE stated that this afternoon that both superstars suffered substantial injuries. As a result of Henry's brutal assault following their match at Money in the Bank, initial reports from medical technician treating Big Show reported that Henry's vicious actions have left the star of Knucklehead with a distal fracture of the fibula that will keep him out of action for 6 to 8 weeks. So he's going to be gone for 2 months. Injury occurred moments after Henry secured the victory when he wrapped a chair around Big Show's ankle, ascended to the ropes, and brought down all of his weight on his opponent's leg. WWE.com also discovered if his injury had been more serious than originally thought, Big Show could have been sidelined for up to 4 months. Regarding Sin Cara, WWE has suffered an injury during SmackDown's Money in the Bank match when Sheamus viciously powerbombed the masked grappler from the ring apron through the steel ladder. SmackDown superstar was quickly stretchered to the back by paramedics. According to WWE, the early medical reports have concluded that Sin Cara suffered a posterior fractured rib and will be out of action for at least 4 weeks. WWE announced Monday morning that Sin Cara has been suspended for 30 days due to a wellness policy violation. On with more news. Also, John Cena, former WWE champion, posted the following on Twitter about tonight, saying he's been future endeavored and his match with The Rock at WrestleMania 28 is off. Quote, I have just been future endeavored. Well, if that's how it is, I would like to take a moment to publicly apologize to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. In an effort to make WrestleMania 28 as big as possible, I tried to expose Rock for his flaws. Very childish and immature on my behalf. My comments about The Rock's absence were both unprofessional and childish. I am sorry. Rock, I truly wish and still hope in my heart of hearts that the crazy old man who is the boss reconsiders his total rash decision, because Chicago was insane last night and it made me think of what Miami could have done, or could have been. I guess sometimes you do not know what you have until it's lost. And he also quotes C Nation, I very rarely ask you for anything, but I am down to my last chance. If you could tweet WWE to let them know not to fire me. And unquote. After capturing the WWE Championship last night at Money in the Bank, CM Punk indicated this afternoon on Twitter that he will be attending tonight's Chicago Cubs versus Philadelphia Phillies game at Wrigley Field. The game began at 8:05 p.m. 5 minutes after Raw went on air. In the meantime, Monday Night Raw will take place 200 miles away at the Resch Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin. WWE.com wrote the following regarding fallout from the event. Whatever lies ahead, it will happen. It will all happen on a permanently altered WWE landscape with no CM Punk, no WWE Championship, and perhaps no John Cena. A vision that none might have believed they'd ever see. Unquote. For that little article. Punk also commented on his health following last night's grueling match, which lasted approximately 34 minutes. He wrote, quote, it's been a long time since I've been this physically spent after a match, yet at the gym with Ace Steel and Colt Cabana and the Cubs, Phillies later. Cubs versus Phillies later, well, that was tonight. Well, on TMZ.com, there on the main page, there was a picture of CM Punk partying with Colt Cabana and Ace Steel. There was no apparent beverage held in the hand. There was a few websites that said that they were partying with Diet Pepsis. Well, if you look at the picture, where's the damn Diet Pepsis? But he did have the title belt, and that was basically it. That was the whole main point for that. And the dark match before tonight's Raw in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Chris Masters defeated Kurt Hawkins with the Messerlock. Tonight, before Raw went on the air for Thursday's Internet Superstars, Zack Ryder and Santino Marella versus WWE Tag Team Champions David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy. That was advertised. Well, Zack Ryder and Santino Marella defeated David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy. Didn't state it was for a title or anything. Ryder got a good pop, but Santino's was bigger. Santino took all the heat. Ryder pinned Otunga with his finisher in about 6 minutes. And Evan Bourne beat Primo. Bourne received a huge pop. There were some nice spots. Bourne hit Airborne before the win in roughly about 4 minutes. Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler immediately come out after the match, so Superstars tapings ended there. And what you've all been waiting for, Raw starts right now, with Vince McMahon coming to the ring with his music. And also joining him, John Laurinaitis, again, who says nothing during the whole entire show. The crowd chants for CM Punk as we see the WWE roster backstage watching on a TV, well, closed circuit TV in arenas. He says that man is biggest ingrate in WWE history, being CM Punk, and he's not even going to mention that name ever again. In fact, he's basically stripped him. He's going to strip him of all the titles that he's ever held in WWE or WWF. And says that man also walked out on all the fans, the locker room, and anyone who has ever been in the ring. Vince says that the man is an egotistical, selfish turd. Vince says nobody is bigger than WWE, not even Hulk Hogan himself, or The Rock, Bret Hart, Stone Cold, nobody. Vince puts over WWE as a company and says it cannot be stopped. Vince then says he will crown a new champion tonight. And this is how it's going to be. WWE Vince makes WWE Raw title up for grabs in an 8-man tournament. Well, spoiler alert, there was no champion named tonight. And it will be held through the night. He said it will not ever gain mention. He will not ever gain mention to CM Punk's name ever again. Oh, there will be harsh punishment to happen later on with Raw. Whether it's CM Punk or John Cena, because he didn't even mention Cena's name. Well, then Michael Cole mentioned Cena tweeting tonight. He was already future endeavored, so he won't be there in Green Bay tonight. Well, guess what? You lied, Michael Cole, because he was the main event, and so was somebody who also returned that hadn't been in that, but I'll save that for your main event as well. 8 guys mentioned were Rey Mysterio, R-Truth, Jack Swagger, Alex Riley, Miz, Kofi Kingston, Alberto Del Rio, and Mr. Ziggles, Dolph Ziggler. And then they go to commercial. Come back from commercial. Your first match for the tournament was Miz defeating Alex Riley. Unfortunately, this match was all Alex Riley until Riley stepped in front of the ref. This allowed Miz to deliver the skull-crushing finale and pinfall. It went about 6 to 8 minutes. Several misses on or slow punches. A couple of botched moves from both guys. Unprofessional. Like you could barely see that they were done. I believe why the finish happened that way, because it was botched. Then they go to commercial. Match number 2 back from commercial. Jack Swagger versus R-Truth. Truth wins. He beats Swagger by a roll through from an ankle lock attempt. They go to the ring and out comes R-Truth, followed by his opponent Jack Swagger. Bell rings and they lock up. They break apart and lock up again. Swagger with a side headlock. Truth dazes Swagger with a big right hand and rolls him up for a 2 count. They lock up again and go to the corner. Swagger with a shoulder thrust. Swagger slams Truth and covers him for a 2 count. Swagger uses the ropes on R-Truth and slide slams him for a 2 count. Swagger continues the offense and beats Truth back down. Swagger whips Truth hard into the corner and then he goes down again. Swagger goes for the big second rope splash, but out of the corner and nails it for yet another pin attempt. Truth fights out of a hold, but Swagger scoops him up on the shoulders. Truth counters, ducks a clothesline, hits a heel kick on Swagger for a 2 count. Truth with a big right hand. Truth misses a scissor kick. Swagger trips him and goes for the ankle lock. Truth rolls out of it, which is a counter. Covers Swagger for the win and advances in the tournament. Match number 3, still in the first hour. In fact, you're right about the 45-minute mark right now. Alberto Del Rio versus Kofi Kingston is up next, and Del Rio comes driving into the arena for the next tournament match. Del Rio enters the ring with his briefcase. Well, Del Rio won the match. No, I take it back. No, Del Rio did not win the match. Kofi advanced in the tournament. Well, I don't know what happened. Del Rio came out, introduces his new name is Mr. Money in the Bank then introduces his returning announcer, Ricardo Rodriguez, who reintroduces Alberto Del Rio. Well, Kofi defeats Del Rio after Rio went for his armbar finisher, where Kofi countered or slipped out of it with a roll-up pinfall, which is simply Del Rio falling back to help Kofi stay pinned on top of Rio, and it was botched. But nobody knows real wrestling until you actually see it or perform it yourself. And here's how it starts. Kofi with right hands and a big uppercut on Del Rio for a pin attempt. Del Rio jumps at Kofi but flies out to the floor. Kofi dives through the ropes, landing on Del Rio on the floor outside of the ring. Kofi brings it back in the ring, but Del Rio kicks him in the head for another pin attempt. Del Rio stomps on Kofi's head now and covers for yet another pin. But Del Rio with a headlock now. Del Rio with more offense and another pin attempt. Del Rio drops a big elbow and gets another 2 count. Del Rio goes back to the headlock now. And Rio charges with a drop kick in the corner, but Kofi moves and lands on his head. Kofi makes a comeback now and drop kicks Del Rio. Then takes him down with a big forearm. Del Rio catches Kofi with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a 2 count. Del Rio went for the armbar, but Kofi rolls him up for the pin and the win, advancing in the tournament. Kofi defeated Del Rio. I already did that. I wrote it down twice. Match number 4, still in the first hour. Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler. Rey defeated Dolph with a 619 corner splash combo. Well, instead of the 619 from the middle of the ropes and then climbing back out when the guy falls backwards from the 619 and doing a splash from the springboard, he's going to the corner instead. Well, they start off. Ziggler beats Rey down and goes to work. Ziggler runs into a boot in the corner, and Rey takes him down. Rey ducks a clothesline but gets kicked. Ziggler launches Rey out of the ring but lands on his feet. Ziggler comes out and blocks Rey, then drops him face first onto the floor. Ziggler brings it back in the ring for a 2 count. Ziggler with an elbow and another 2 count. Ziggler goes to work on Rey's leg now with an odd hold. They trade pin attempts. Dolph takes back control and drops Rey again for a 2 count. More pin attempts by Ziggler as Vicky yells at ringside. That's all she does during this match. Dolph misses an elbow drop and a splash in the corner. Rey kicks him in the head and covers for 2. Rey with a senton from the top, but Ziggler stops him running the ropes. Ziggler kicks Rey's leg out and hits a forearm of a cutter for a 2 count. Then you go back and forth for a few seconds. Dolph goes for the sleeper, but Rey throws him into the turnbuckles. Rey kicks Dolph and goes for the Hurricane Rana, but Dolph catches him. Rey counters the block and goes for the 619. Dolph ducks the 619 and slams Rey for a 2 count. Ziggler then stomps away now on Rey. Rey counters the move and finally hits the 619. Rey goes up top rope, corner, hits the big splash for the pin and win, advancing in the tournament. And then they have, right after that, they cut to commercial and they show it's an advertisement for the Rey Mysterio new DVD 3-disc set, The Life of a Masked Man, on sale tomorrow or midnight tonight. By the time you are watching this video, it should be on sale. Then they had the boring tag team divas match. Kelly, Caitlyn, AJ Lee, Eve Torres, Beth Phoenix, Gail Kim, and Natalya versus Melina, Maurice, Tamina, Rosa Mendez, and the Bella Twins. Well, the match doesn't even last as long as it doesn't even finish by the time I finish reading this. That's how fast the match was. Beth won for her team with the Glam Slam on Rosa Mendez, whose hair is black this month. Back from the break, now here comes the Divas Champion, Kelly, with her partners, Caitlyn, AJ, Eve, Beth Phoenix, and Gail Kim, and Natalya. Out next was Melina, Maurice, Alicia Fox, Tamina, Rosa Mendez, Brie Bella, and Nikki Bella. And they start the match. Beth and Rosa start the match off. And basically in the match, because Beth slingshot suplexes Rosa for a 2 count. The Bellas break the pin, which brings in Natalya Gail Kim to take them out. All the Divas start brawling at ringside, not even 3 minutes into the match. Beth and Rosa are in the ring still. Beth hits the glam slam as Rosa Mendez just barely is tapping her on the shoulder to turn around. And boom, immediately it's over with. And the second hour starts with your next round tournament. Kofi versus Miz is up first. Miz wins with another skull-crushing finale, as Miz was also busted open in his mouth during the match. So at the end of the match, you can see him when he opens his mouth, it's bleeding. Well, they start off, they go at it. Kofi goes right for the Miz's leg, but Miz fights off. Kofi rolls Miz up early for a 2 count and applies a headlock. Miz fights out, but Kofi hits crossbody for a pin attempt. Kofi drop kicks Miz and covers again. Miz makes a comeback and grounds Kofi with a headlock. Kofi goes back to Miz's knee. Kofi goes for a drop kick but flies out of the ring. Kofi comes back right back and takes out Miz's leg. Kofi leaps into the ring with an elbow drop and another 2 count, but manages to kick Mig in the head. Okay, Kofi drop kicks Miz. Okay, yep. Kofi with a big crossbody from the top, but Miz rolls through and gets a 2 count. Kofi takes out the knee again and goes back to work. Miz fights back and goes for the skull crusher finale, but Kofi counters, rolls him up for 2. Miz dumps Kofi's face into the turnbuckle, and then this time nails the skull crushing finale out of nowhere for the win, which advances to the finals. That never happened. And they go to backstage with Scott Stanford with R-Truth. Truth says he deserves to be the WWE champion more than anyone in the tournament. The conspiracy kept him from the Money in the Bank briefcase, but it won't stop him from beating little Ray tonight. Truth says the title is going to get got tonight, and that's the truth. Back to commercial. And, well, they showed a promo video for Tough Enough winner Andy Levine, Sign of Rage, showing the rough neighborhood that he grew up in. And your second round tournament match number 2. Ray versus Truth. Ray wins with a 619. Corner top row splash again. They start off. Truth knocks Ray down with right hands. Quick pin attempt by Truth. Truth beats on Ray with right hands in the corner and then whips him hard into the opposite corner. 2 count for Truth. Truth suplexes Mysterio and covers for another attempt. Ray tries to make a comeback, but Truth clotheslines him and tries for another pin. Truth continues with the offensive pin attempts. Truth with a body scissors now. Ray finally comes back and counters. Arm dragging Truth through the ropes and out to the floor. Ray dives through the ropes and takes Truth out on the floor as we go to commercial. That match was the only time they actually went to commercial during a match. Back from the break, Truth has Ray on the mat, hitting him with forearm shots. And during the break, Truth knocked Ray off the top, but then got hit by a moonsault. Ray fights out of the hole now, but Truth stops him. Ray rolls Truth up for a 2 count. Truth comes back with a kick to the face and another pin attempt. Truth bounces Ray with right hands and goes for yet another pin attempt. Lots of pin attempts on Ray on tonight's show. Ray ducks a clothesline but gets hit with a flying forearm. Truth with another 2. Truth uses the ropes to choke Ray now. Ray fights back and kicks and drops Truth for a 619. Truth stops it and knocks Ray down with a big forearm for 2. Truth drops Ray on his face but can't get the pin. Truth charges in the corner, but Ray drops the toe, holds him into the turnbuckles. Ray hits him with kicks now. Truth hits him with a knee and chops. Ray springboards and hits a crossbody for 2. Truth stops Ray again, but misses a scissor kick. Ray counters a roll up and kicks Truth in the face for 2. Truth comes back with more offense and another near fall. Ray finally drops Truth for the 619 and nails it. Ray goes up top and hits a big splash for the pin, the win, and the spot in the finals. And finally, your main event, which you thought was their money in it, was the championship match, which never happened because this is how it goes. And in my opinion, this was the most wasted time on the entire show. Since it went like almost 20 minutes, like 18, 19 minutes over. Something like that. Finals of the tournament never happened as Vince McMahon came out after Ray was already introduced in the ring, and Vince told him his match will be postponed till next week. Well, this kind of ticked off Ray, and Ray asked the fans if they wanted it, and they were saying, yeah, Ray didn't want to take that, but he had no choice. This brought on the announcement, and Vince says he didn't want to do, but finally called out Cena, who came to his music to mixed reaction of a little booze, of a lot of booze, but Cena did all the talking when he came out, saying he got all what Vince was saying about him about to be fired, and he didn't allow that to happen. As Cena even said that he would even go to another company if he was fired, because that's what he loves. He loves the wrestling business. He wants to wrestle. Like, can he wrestle? And that's all he wants to do is wrestle. Cena says that it's no threat, it's a promise. Just like CM Punk said in the last couple of weeks. Cena says he won't kiss Vince's ass. As he goes to walk off, Vince stops him and says Cena won't deny him what he's about to do. Vince says he doesn't want to do this, but out of nowhere you get a returning Triple H's music hits, and out he comes to a massive pop. Triple H hits a ring in a suit and says some things in private to Vince, trying to get Vince to go to the back so they can talk about it. Well, Vince gets a microphone and introduces Triple H as one of the all-time greats and his son-in-law. The crowd pops. Triple H says he got here as fast as he could, and says there was a board of directors meeting this morning. Triple H says he received a call this morning to fly back to headquarters for the meeting. The board asked Triple H to come talk to Vince because they're concerned about the current situation. Triple H asked Vince if they could talk about this in the back. He says that the board is more concerned about Vince. He says it's a given that Vince created WWE, but the board is concerned about Vince's decision as of late. The board has filed an injunction against Vince McMahon with a vote of no confidence. Triple H then reveals Triple H says that the McMahon family agrees with the injunction. On top of that, the board has appointed someone to take over the day-to-day operations of WWE, and that person is Triple H. The crowd pops at this news, and Vince looks like, yeah, right. Triple H says Vince isn't going to fire John Cena, and he's not going to be doing anything else. Triple H says Vince taught him since day one that nobody is bigger than this business. Nobody. Triple H says this is just business, and can't believe he's saying this. Triple H is here to inform Vince that he is now relieved of all of his duties, and the crowd cheers. Vince starts crying as the crowd sings goodbye to him. La la la, na 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye. Triple H then looks like he might get emotional also as he keeps his head down. Triple H says he's trying to do what's right for the business and tells Vince to look at him. Triple H says, I love you, Pop, and I'm sorry. Triple H drops the mic and exits the ring while Vince cries his eyes out. But not much tears from him because he knows it's happening. The crowd finally claps for Vince just before the TV taping stops. And Vince just stands there in the ring. Raw goes off the air with the a late thank you, Vince, about 4 or 5 times. And there were very weak chants from the crowd like it was staged. And that was it, and he continued crying. And after reading some other dirt sheets, there was a comment during Raw commercial break. Word in the arena that one of the persons there said that during the commercial break for the Kofi Kingston versus Alberto Del Rio match on tonight's Raw, Vince McMahon came out and yelled at the crowd for being so dead. Vince was in character, but it was noted that he may have been legitimately upset at the subdued atmosphere in the building. Well, he wanted it hotter than what it was. Well, what happened after the taping stopped, after the cameras went off air, Vince McMahon removed his jacket, his tie, and belt because he wanted to fight John Cena. Well, John Cena's music hits because he went to the back during the little segment between Triple H and himself. Cena got in the ring to talk to Vince, who said, "Screw you," and slammed the mic down. He slapped Cena and knocked his hat off. Cena backed Vince into the corner, then Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, and Miz ran in and beat down on Cena. Well, Santino Marella, Evan Bourne, and Zack Ryder hit the ring and made the save. All the heels left the ring, leaving only Ziggler in the ring with the baby faces. Well, Cena hits Ziggler with a 5-knuckle shuffle. Santino hits the Cobra. Ryder hits his finisher, the Rough Rider. Cena gave Ziggler the Attitude Adjustment, and Bourne nailed his finisher. Airborne, baby faces powdered, and celebrated with all the fans at ringside, which they normally don't do. And that ended your Raw for this week. And see y'all tomorrow night on SmackDown Results, Internet, SmackDown version of Superstars, and your NXT. Thank you and have a blessed night.